I'm sitting down with Trent Marsh of Right On Optics. Who are they? Where are they? And what do they do for the hunter? All that right now.
Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt.
This episode is brought to you by Ruger, Timney Triggers, and Range Ready. All right, welcome in all you gun talk hunters. I'm your host KJ, and we are in studio with the Trent Marsh. He is no stranger to the show. He has been on once before. Changed shirts a little bit.
A little different shirt.
Welcome in, man.
It's good to be here.
We were actually just talking about all the benefits of belonging to, your media organization, or whether it's your media organization or an organization of your profession.
Yep.
And Aglow happens to be one of ours. Phenomenal organization. I've been dealing with them mostly on the PR side when I was back in the PR game, but now I'm starting to get back in there on the just on the media side.
Yeah.
It's a way different creature, man. Aglow are some of the best people you'll ever find.
100%.
So
great group.
So you're involved in Aglow. Talk a little bit about that.
So I'm president. I'm in the second half of
the head honcho.
Well, no, allegedly. It's just the transitioning head honcho.
Yeah.
So second half of my 2-year term as president of Aglow, which is Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers. And before you say, yeah, but I live in Kansas, or
that's
I
what
live
everybody
in Florida, right? It's a regional organization. Yeah. Members in 40 states, 2 Canadian provinces. Yeah. We've taken to saying Aglow has regional roots, but it's a national organization.
Right.
And some of that, for better or worse, the world has changed because of COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, world's gotten smaller in general. So, it started as a regional organization, but if you are an outdoor communicator or just a hook and bullet communicator of any stripe, it's a fantastic organization. That's where we met.
Yeah, that's where we met.
The number of people that I've met through either Aglow, Poma is the other big one that's still out there. Probably of my good industry because there's people that
you
we
can trust,
know, and then there's your go-to people, right? Yeah. More than half of my go-to people are people that I first met there and then kind of developed that relationship.
Well, and it gives us an opportunity to communicate, and I do the same thing. Like if it's someone I trust and I'm like, okay, no, I know them from Aglow, so I know they're good people because they're vetted very well. So opportunities for young people, because we always get into this funnel of and we saw this with other organizations, they kind of time out. Mm-hmm. They age out. And we're always looking for new communicators, new outdoor communicators. And the youth are notorious for they love it, but they don't know it's out there.
Right.
So if you're listening to this, of this podcast or watching it, there are opportunities for young communicators to get involved.
There are, and I've caught the scorn of some of the members, right? Because of course, because it's a membership organization, right? And they say, well, people now don't want to they don't want to belong to things like that. Kind of aspect's going away. But the other part of that where I've kind of caught some flack is, I will say, if Aglow and Poma are doing their job, your members will eventually not need you.
Yeah.
Because Linda Powell's a perfect example. Linda Powell at Mossberg, right? Linda's been a member of those organizations for years.
Decades.
And Linda's at Mossberg.
Right.
Do you think Mossberg needs help promoting their product?
No.
But Linda believes in the organization, so she is involved and supports it.
Yeah.
Tom and Ryan Gresham. Do you think Tom needs to know more people in the organization?
No.
Do you know where I first met Ryan Gresham? Tunica, Mississippi.
Really?
At a Poma conference was the first place I met Ryan. So
I think that's where we first met.
Yeah, 2012.
That was 2012. Yep. Holy crap! It's been that long.
It's been a minute. So and I know, change hat, change shirts.
Right.
I'm at my if we count the freelance thing, I'm my 5th kind of ish position in this industry in almost 15 years.
Yeah.
I keep going back to the organizations, not because I don't know enough people.
Right.
But the flip side is there's only a handful of times a year to see the people that I want to see.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I get a lot of pushback is folks, well, I want to be out of the office for a week. I'm like, okay, but I'm out of the office for a lot worse reasons than being able to spend time. Hey, because we all get busy. We caught up in our day to day. Yes, I meet and talk to media. Yes, I meet and talk with other corporates, but the number of times that projects or ideas that I've been rolling around for 2 or 3 years, and then we're sitting around after a dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a crazy idea.
Yeah.
And then we hatch some scheme that it might take 2 years to come to fruition.
Oh, yeah.
But there's too many of those things where I will happily be out of the office for 4 days.
Yeah.
They're super affordable to join, a few $100s a year. You come to conference, the POMA conference is coming up here actually just a few weeks. It may have already happened by the time this goes down, but like you're gonna have Palmetto State Armory, you're gonna have Right On Ops, you're gonna have Cellmark's gonna be there. Savage is gonna be there. Like there's all of these brands that SHOT Show's great.
Yeah.
For those that can get to SHOT Show's great. But SHOT Show is such a whirlwind.
Oh gosh.
And the brands, we're tied to our booth. I can't go walk. That's
no, you can't.
My buddy.
You can't walk around.
Man, I'm so jealous. You work in the industry. How could I'd love to go to SHOT Show. I'm like, I don't get to go to SHOT Show. I get
see
to go to
the exits.
A 30 by 30. Everybody's like, well, how was the weather in Vegas? I know 72 and ultraviolet. I don't know. I was at a trade show. Like it's
you don't
not
see the outside. You don't see the outside.
I saw you at SHOT Show.
Yeah.
We had a 27-minute meeting in the booth.
That was it.
And that was it.
That was it.
So if you're covering it from a media perspective, all you're doing is running from one part of the 18 acres to another part of the 15 acres. And if you are working for a brand, you are in your little part of the pasture.
Yeah.
The nice thing about Aglow and POMA and those organizations, we got 2, 3, 4 days. We got meals, we got shooting times, we got fishing tournaments, we got craft improvement, we got all kinds of stuff where we can just sit and relax and actually start to
brainstorm.
It's not, oh crap, I got to run to this next meeting.
Yeah.
We can actually commiserate and
there's stuff to be had out there. There's fruit on the vine out there to pluck on organizations like this. And I'm telling you, if you're a young communicator or have an interest in like, well, the outdoor industries, I like the outdoors and I wonder if I could do it. Dude, what's the website?
aglowinfo.org.
aglowinfo.org. And I think there's scholarships.
So
available?
That has changed a little bit just because some folks that are involved in it. But we always try to offer some of those opportunities for folks to come in and
there's big companies there. I mean, there's
100%.
Big companies. Right On is just one of them. And you are with Right On now.
I am with Right On.
So
that's not why you called.
That's not why I called. But we're in turkey season. Allegedly we're in turkey season. And part of my problem down here is I'm in Southeast Louisiana, and public hunting ground, it can be had, but you're going to drive to get really good property. You're going to drive maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to start getting into some good birds, more consistent birds, because I've been scouring the woods around here, nothing. But the evolution of a red dot on a turkey gun is not necessarily new, but it's hot. And that's one of the only ways to go right now. And Right On, we just got talking about the three tactics EED, which is probably one of my favorites that you guys came out with. But now the one I have to, that's my problem.
He's picking your favorite kid now.
You're picking your favorite kid, because the one for like a closed emitter on a concealed handgun is perfect, but the 3 seems ideal for a shotgun.
Yep.
And I still remember the first time a redhead walked into this is not a bar joke or anything. Walked into my frame and the red dot just showed up. I mean, red on red, it doesn't matter. Man, what an exciting, because you're watching it play out through a window. It's like you're watching it through a TV screen.
Of course, you know, when it really started getting popular 15, 20 years ago, it was the toilet paper tubes.
Yes.
Like, you know, huge, massive things. And now, you know, that for those watching, I mean, that's the 3 Tactics EED right there.
This is the one I'm so excited about. Yeah. And it's, my gosh, it's so small anymore, because you're right. We used to think of an enclosed red dot as a tube, and that's what it used to be, instead
like 40
of a low
millimeters.
profile.
Like these, they were huge.
Well, and you get. So what's happening now is we're seeing a decrease in your weight capacities when you're traveling to hunt and everything else, and typically you had to get into lightweight gear at a high cost. That's just not the case anymore. Not essentially, not on most gear. Now, some of your lightweight backpacking gear and everything like that gets a little ridiculous.
Eventually, efficiency comes to everything, right? Like, you can walk into Walmart and buy a 75-inch television now for what?
It was like $400.
That's it. Just if over time, the technology, as we get more efficient with the technology, the packaging within which that technology lives is able to get more efficient. So that's always helpful. You know, I same way. You know, I've only recently come to Right On just in the last handful of months, and you know, this is the EED is designed for, it's on the acro footprint, so it's designed for a pistol. But you get an pick to acro adapter. Yeah. I've got. We'll go back to Mossberg since we already talked about Linda. Because I'm a young Fudd. Sometimes I call myself a tactical Fudd, as much as I hate make it better? Both terms. I almost do it just out of derision for both absolutely stupid silos, right? Because we're both kind of in that age.
We are.
We're not really Gen X, and we're not really millennials. We're we're that kind of. There's like a 5 or 7 year time frame, and I think we're kind of in that same window, right?
We are.
And you know, I grew up Northeast Indiana. We couldn't even deer hunting season until, you know, just in the last decade, we could use rifles, shotgun only area. So
still baffles me to this day.
I just, it's funny to me, the number of people that'll say, it's 2024. The only guns you need are a Poly 9 and an AR. There's you don't need revolvers. You don't need shotguns. You don't need anything. And meanwhile, I grew up, you know, like chasing rabbits around with a single shot 410.
Oh yeah.
Proficiency is not platform reliant.
Right. Yeah.
I grew up around shotguns. I am probably more comfortable than I should be shooting a shotgun.
Yeah.
If you think I'm not going to make a piece with which I am proficient to an extreme degree part of my home defense strategy, you are outside of your mind.
Right.
And there's a lot of tactical Tommies and Timmies out on the internet saying that there's no use for this stuff. Right? You kind of fall in the same category. You talk to the real ones, the guys that have actually done stuff and been there and seen things, and they'll be the first one to tell you, love to have a breacher with a shotgun on my team.
Oh yeah.
So I'm doing long way around the barn. I'm doing I'm doing 2 different stories. I'm doing an article for Guns on the build itself, and then Gunsight. They do some of those remote classes in Indiana. So I'm going down for the 3-day shotgun class. So I took a Maverick 88.
Yeah.
$262 MSRP 7+1 12-gauge shotgun.
That's what you're taking the class with?
That's what I'm taking the class with.
Jeez.
It's got a new ATI stock on it. Yep. It's got one of the Mountain Partisan slings from Shield Arms. Yep. So it's build it up, right?
Yeah.
It's right around $1,000, and it is loaded up.
Oh, what? And it's got the
3 Tactics EED on it. So
how light is that? Because I mean,
I literally don't even have the build done yet. I need to get it wrapped up. But the ATA, it's not heavy.
No.
But I've got the new ATI the Gen 2 side saddle on it. Yep. So I'm 7+1 with 9 more on the receiver. Jeez. There are not a lot of problems in this world that 17 rounds of double-aught buck cannot solve.
So would you, in a zombie apocalypse, would you rather have 500 rounds of double-aught buck or 1,000 rounds of 22 long rifle?
Double-aught buck.
Oh, that's a first.
I would.
Really?
Yeah. Am I station? Am I defend? Well, I mean,
are you defending?
Am I defending a location or am I on the move? Man. Because there's no compare. But 1,000 rounds of 22 long rifle.
Yeah.
And what's my terrain like? Because again, where did I grow up? I grew up Northeast Indiana.
Oh wait, you're in Northeast Indiana.
Rabbits with the 410 and head shooting
and
squirrels.
You're staying.
So if I am stationary. I am defending a location. Give me the 12 gauge.
12 gauge. All right. I have to ask that every once in a while. It'll come up and
if I'm mobile,
I don't want to carry around 500 rounds of double up buck.
But if we use another one of them tactical, if I'm recce in it, right. If I got my recce kit on,
if I have to do that, some bad things have happened.
100%.
I've prepared poorly on the zombie apocalypse. If I have to start,
if you find yourself in a fair fight, you've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Similar sort of situation. If I have to
pull hair,
if that's the route I have to go,
eyes, do it all.
But if I'm in a single spot,
I like that.
It's really good bad situation medicine.
Yeah.
Double buck.
Yeah, it is. Ruger celebrates 75 years of rugged, reliable firearms this year. Congratulations to them. Well done. I'm going to just say it right now, man. The Ruger American Gen 2 rifles they're pretty sweet, man. We were just shooting one out on the range, which is why I have my ears up here. And not going to lie, we shot a ranch rifle in 223, and it's probably one of the most accurate. And I say that kind of half jokingly, but it's really hard to find a very, very accurate bolt action 223. I mean, the stars seem to have to align, and what Ruger has done with the Generation 2 American is absolutely phenomenal. This gun absolutely shoots. It's great. The little ranch hand rifle, it's got, professionally applied Cerakote coating, Generation 2 American stock. It allows for adjustable length of pull and comb height, so that's nice. And then splattered finish stock, so it's got a little bit of grip texture to it. But check it out at Ruger.com. And Timney triggers. I've been using a Timney trigger in most all of my hunting guns for about as long as I can remember. TimneyTriggers.com, and this is one of the coolest things, and I know it might not seem like a lot to you guys out there, but for me, when I'm going shopping online, it's nice to have a spot where you can go, you feel comfortable, you feel welcomed. And Timney Triggers kind of redid some of their website, which I'm really digging right now. I'm sitting here cruising down, and I can go to trigger type, 3-gun competition. They've got impact series, handgun triggers, pistol carbine, caliber carbine, and of course, I'm going to click on hunting triggers and see what pops up first. And, it's got to be the Remington 700 trigger, the Elite Hunter, which is one of my favorites because it has a broader trigger face on it. It's a little bit more broad, and I like that. I like that feel to it. I know a lot of guys are going to the flat-faced triggers. On my hunting rifles, I kind of like that traditional feel, and with Timney triggers, you always get a variety, so you can definitely find out what you're looking for. So go visit them at TimneyTriggers.com. And Range Ready Studios, if you haven't been out here to train, shame on you. You should absolutely come out here to train, because RangeReadyStudios.com is where you can find more at. But we're offering all kinds of experiences. We have, I don't think I can really announce it yet, but we do have a lot of classes that are going to be put on the schedule here pretty soon. One of those, I hope no one's listening to this, one of those is going to be a Colt experience. And yes, you're going to want to attend that because, well, I've already said too much, so I can't say anymore. But if you're looking for your next training class, give us a look, rangereadystudios.com. We're going to jump around, but it all relates to hunting, because Right On is not only in the red dot field, they're also hunting and spotting scopes and binoculars,
competition shooting,
so. One, I guess give a background on Right On, because we haven't even touched on that. Like, everybody's like, well, one, how do you say it? because it's Riton. That's what we're dealing with here.
It's not rattan.
No.
It's not written.
No.
It's not rattan. That's the
rattan.
bad furniture your grandparents have on the porch.
Or somewhere. It sounds like someone visited somewhere horrible in Vietnam.
Yeah. No, it looks, it's phonetic. It's extreme phonetics. It's right on.
Right. Yeah.
Say it like you shoot it. Right on.
Yeah. Dead center. Right on. All right. How long has Right On been around?
A little over 10 years.
Okay.
Been around for a little while.
Okay. But still in its fledgling kind of.
Yeah.
It's still growing into its own.
Yep.
So where'd y'all start out? Did you guys start out in optics as far as like scopes and binoculars?
It started out very much with kind of a tactical tilt.
Okay.
It was what kind of really leaned into kind of the black gun side of things and that push. And there's been some changes in leadership and that's how things go. Right. So Right On's kind of in its second act.
Okay.
And I'm part of that second act. And it's, I always, the figures haven't changed. The product has existed, but we haven't really talked to the market, but the figures haven't changed for a long time. 80 cents of every hunting dollar spent in this country are chasing whitetail.
Oh yeah.
And most whitetail hunters have never heard of Right On just because they're headquartered out of Tucson, Arizona. Yeah. So they had the black gun focus kind of initially. And then because of where they're at, they kind of got into the Western hunting thing, which it's a lot. I mean, that's out your back door, but it's also
a small market.
It's a small market compared to everything else. So it's kind of got it's kind of played in some of these niches, but it never really went mainstream.
Yeah. So how is your growth strategy looking as far as capturing that market, and not necessarily capturing the market, I guess just capturing we are in this space, getting people's attention.
Think about where I've come from and some of the other hats I've worn. Yeah. Like you said, I kind of walk on all sides of this industry. Yeah. I write, I hunt, I market, I do all these things, but that my background really kind of lends to that hunting market. I spent the last 5 years, my previous employer was very hunting focused. Like I said, I'm going on 15 years of being in the industry. So like I said, we have the products exist. We've got like our 3 Primal 3-18 is a first focal plane 3-18 scope that really has been built and developed as a crossover reticle. So in rifle calibers right now, what would you say is one of the hottest rifle calibers out there?
Well, I mean, Creedmoor's been the hottest.
6.5 Creedmoor,
but
right?
But also like the 6.5 PRC.
6.5 PRCs, but and I was
7 PRC.
This is not scripted. We leaned you right into it. It's perfect, right? So 6.5 Creedmoor, and like you said, now all the PRCs and some of that stuff's coming through. But the beauty of all of those rounds, the common thread of all of those rounds is they're fantastic for hunting. Right. But if you want to go to the range and really question what you can do, the reason they've gotten so popular for hunting is because the way their BC profile works out, they are super accurate, super reliable at range. And you've heard, like, archery hunters have talked about this for years. I'm going to practice at 70, 80, and 100 yards, never planning to shoot more than 40, so that my 40 is a chip shot. Yeah. The same thing applies to rifle hunters. Why would you not practice at 500 and 600 yards on a range
to make
even if you can't see more than 2 or 250? Yeah. Now it's a chip shot. And that was really hard. Again, growing up in Indiana, what am I going to do? Go to the range and lob 1 ounce slugs 300 yards?
I mean,
we can, but you're not going to get the kind of results that you will go into the range with a 6.5 Creedmoor. Yeah. So we designed that 3 Primal 3-18 as for a crossover round, you need a crossover scope. Yeah. So it's first focal plane. It's got some of the reticle is a Christmas tree style reticle. So it's got some of those targety type influences, because that's really where the roots of Right On are at. But we put it into a hunter friendly 3-18, nice lightweight chassis. So if you're a hunter,
3-18.
It is the ideal 6.5 Creedmoor scope, the 3 Primal 3-18, and you can go to the range, punch paper at 750, 800, and then a volleyball sized target at 250.
Easy. All milled reticles.
Yep. Mill reticle. Yep.
Mill reticles. 3 to 18 is just such a sweet spot for optics. I mean, especially when you talk about a hunting optic, it's just double 3 to 9. I mean, that 3 to 9 is still probably one of the most popular whitetail optic magnification ranges out there. But man, if you're shooting these high BC bullets from 3 to 18, nice option.
See, and so can I get on? Is this the part of the show where I can get on my optics soapbox?
Yeah,
because if I go,
absolutely.
I've done the optics thing before, so I've got all kinds of long-seated opinions that people need to hear. Right? Some people will say that 18 power is not enough magnification to go long range, and it's kind of one of those.
I'm really biting my tongue right now.
I know. And then, and now I'm gonna throw my own hand grenade.
Good.
Tell me you don't know anything about long range shooting without telling me you don't know anything about long range shooting by saying 18 is not long enough to go however far you need to go.
But I need like 34.
No, you don't. for all the reasons you don't, right? And a lot of magnification will cause more problems than it solves.
Yes,
it absolutely
100% it does.
For especially for hunting, right? The reason the 3 to 9 has become the gold standard of hunting is because no matter where you use a 3 to 9 magnification scope with a 40 millimeter objective, your exit pupil is always in excess of 4 millimeters.
Okay.
Your exit pupil is the number one determining factor of low light performance. Not the glass, not the coatings, not anything else.
Yeah.
You can have the absolute best boutique German everything. And if you have a 1 millimeter exit pupil at 2 minutes after shooting light, you will have a very expensive, very clear boat anchor that you can see nothing through.
Yes. Right.
That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
So 3 to 18, while still not ideal on the high end, it's 12 and 15 on a 50 millimeter objective, you're still getting above 3. You can creep up to 4. It's still going to function. But a 6 to 24 by 50, half of your magnification range you can't use at dawn and dusk.
Right.
I don't kill all the deer, but I've killed a few, and dawn and dusk seems like a really important time for my optic to work.
Yeah. To be able to utilize. And there's times out on like shooting a PRS match where I won't get above a magnification of 12, like even out to 1,100, 1,200 yards. For decades,
standard issue military sniper scopes were a fixed 10 power.
Really?
I didn't made the math simple.
Yeah.
Everything was
it's all second focal plane. So it would be okay.
You had got
yeah.
It works. It works.
It's that to me is I think people get enamored by bigger when it comes to optics. It's like, man, your optic has to double the price of your firearm, and then all of a sudden now you're talking about your magnification ranges. Well, I've got to have a lot because I want to count every hair on that butt or whatever it is.
It's not just optics though. And I've really landed here, especially in, because like I said, I grew up hunting and kind of the self-defense, concealed carry, got more, I hate tactical, but that's the universal word that people use, right? The tactical side is really, it's just something I've done more in the last 5 years. And the trap that it's not just hunters and it's not just competition shooters and it's not even just, it's all of them.
Yeah.
They want to substitute gear for training. Well, if my scope was an 18 power instead of 12, then I could hit the bullseye at another 100 yards.
Yeah.
If I put a red dot on my pistol, now I can run that plate drill clear and clean instead of investing in ammunition and time and training. God forbid, go find someone to train in all of the ways that you're screwing up.
I know all this.
And then showing up and saying, I'm going to let you teach me something. Now again, optics is a weird category because like everybody is happy to say, well, I'm not a ballistics guy, or I'm not a trigger guy.
Yeah.
Like everyone that has ever mounted a scope if in the last 30 years they have purchased a rifle and or shotgun and or pistol and put an optic on it, no one ever says, well, I'm not really an optics guy. If they've mounted a scope, they're here to tell you all the ways that they know what they're talking about and you don't.
That's so funny you bring that up because, man, like the guy who's the gear guy who's like gear substitutes like mechanics. And a long time ago, like before I was in the outdoors industry, I was that guy because I was like, man, it's got to be good, so it'll make me better. Like instead of going, you know what, I'm gonna take what I would have spent on $1,000 piece of equipment and go invest it in training and actually learn stuff. It's a lot different.
100%.
But no one wants to pay for that.
Well,
which is crazy.
At the end of the day, you go get training to learn how bad you are.
Oh yeah.
And that takes a certain amount of humility that a lot of people just don't have.
They don't have it.
And it will pay back infinitely more than any piece of gear because the gear goes back to like the whole idea of like TVs, right? Like very few people are capable of outshooting even medium grade, air quoting, medium grade equipment. Yeah. Because it used to be, find me a rifle company that doesn't offer somewhere in their product line a sub MOA guarantee now. How rare was that to find even 20 years ago? Rare. And now you've got $400 rifles off the rack.
Shooting sub MOA. Like easy sub MOA.
Optics are the same. Bullets are the same. It goes back. We can soapbox.
Oh yeah, it's still we're still on. I thought we were still standing on.
We're in the trust tree.
Yeah.
So there are people that want to say, "Oh, let's use the fishing example because it's brand neutral for me personally." Forward facing sonar. We got to do away with it. Right? The whole fair game element. Yep. And you'll see it with certain categories of products, but they don't apply it to others. I'll just go there. Cellular trail cameras is the one where we've seen it. We've had this rant. It doesn't matter that the rifles are more accurate, the bullets are more consistent, the camo is better, the scent control is better. I've got a smartphone with a map in my pocket. All of that. That's fine.
Right. But
we draw this arbitrary line of product advancement here. When if you look at any other product category, the advancements in quality, consistency, and performance, it's multi-tentacled. But at this point, I am more than happy to let whatever tactical Timmy that's never done any training pick for me the pistol and rifle that they want me to run a class with against whatever he wants to.
You do.
Put whatever you want in your hand. I'm happy to have you pick for me. Because I've had a lot of people way better than me tell me all the ways I'm screwing up.
Yeah.
And I've developed those skills.
Right.
Rather than just saying, well, I'm going to find a crutch. Here's my crutch. It's this optic or it's this handgun or it's this particular
I only shoot this one. Shoot this one.
If you can only shoot, if you're that dogmatic about your gear,
like
you aren't as good as you think you are.
No. Well, we had that. We had that, and a lot of guys that listen to this podcast, they come to some of our training classes here, and we had that exact thing. Now these guys can shoot; they are great, but like they are red dot shooters. I mean, they are like dialed in red dot shooters. They are phenomenal. Like they could probably, if they actually started competing, they would move into the pro division. They should start there.
Yep.
But put some iron sights and a factory trigger in their hands, and it's a little bit worse. It gets a little bit tougher on them. Now, they have since adapted to that, and they realize that, but that's part of coming in open to training, opening your minds to, okay, this is a tool. This isn't a crutch. Like, we should use them as such. And just like what we have on the table here, like these red dots that Right On is making, they are a tool. They are meant to practice with. They are meant to enhance your experience, but they aren't to be like the only thing you do. No. We've got to become more well-rounded.
Well, and everything in optics is a trade-off. Mm-hmm. It's not just optics, but I'm proud of this concept, right? That everybody wants a 1:30 by 32 scope that weighs 4 ounces and is only 8 inches long.
Man, you've nailed it.
But the reality is you can't have that.
You can't.
Because if it's 1:30, it has to if you want more magnification, the chassis has to get bigger. You want a better low light performance, your objective lens has to grow or your magnification has to go down. So when you go to pick, with variable optics, those things are easy to do, but it's the same with red dot optics. When you go to the pistol, too many times we're seeing people, I can't figure out how to shoot iron sights. So I'm going to switch to a red dot instead of fixing the inherent problem. It's kind of like,
but
instead of fixing this electrical problem that's behind the wall, I'm gonna put some new drywall over it, and I won't be able to see that there's an electrical problem behind the wall. And then when bad things come to breakfast, now all of a sudden you didn't address it and your house is burning down.
Yeah, it's
it's a new set of.
But I can adjust this to a mechanical failure. To my mechanical failure. Mm-hmm. I can adjust that high and right. Mm-hmm. And I'll hit center every time.
No, you won't. You will hit.
That's what they say.
Exactly. You can adjust. You can adjust a certain specific set out of it, so that under a controlled environment, you can do the right thing.
Induce stress.
Induce time. Induce, God forbid, the actual fight for one's life.
Yeah.
And I will butcher it because I don't get it right. You don't rise to the level of your performance, you fall to the level of your training. Yeah. And if instead of not saying that you can't train up, but at the end of the day, you still have to be training. A red dot is not a substitution for training. Right. It changes what you should be training.
Right.
It might, walking out, hitting plates might help you do it quicker and easier because it's the red dot.
Yeah.
Make the dot appear on the thing, pull the little
thing that goes
that
bang.
Little thing that makes go boom, make loud noises, turn money into loud noises, and you hit it.
Yeah.
Great. But if you're not fixing the other fundamental stuff that's going wrong, maybe you see the target at 400 yards a little better on 18 power instead of 12.
Yeah.
Maybe you hit it more often. But if you are jerking the trigger, or if your offhand is doing too much work, or you don't know how to control your breathing in a pressure situation, your gear will not be able to overcome the deficit that you've created by not building the skills around it.
Yeah. And that's why I encourage a lot of hunters to take, these long range courses that are out there, and they're popping up everywhere. People are offering
training in general. And it really has gotten more popular.
Yeah. And I hope that the reason why it's become popular is not because we've got a bunch of unemployed, military veterans and stuff like that out there that are just looking for something to do. I hope it's because there's a demand for it and people are searching it out. Like, I hope that's the reason for it. Or I don't know. Like, I just hope that's the reason for it. But you've got to accept. You have to accept the fact that you might suck, and it's okay for someone else to sit there and go, "Here's one thing I'm seeing, and if you change this." But hunters taking long range courses isn't so you can go enter your next PRS match. It's to, like what you were saying earlier. It's to make those chip shots. I mean, like they're non-existent. It's like, a 300-yard shot. If that's your longest shot, it makes the 100-yard shot seem so easy. Mm-hmm. Just easy, people. Like, that's all you gotta do.
It's not complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated.
No, absolutely not.
It really doesn't.
Well, Trent, man, thanks for being on, dude.
No,
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having
me. Go check them out. Where can they find out more?
So obviously we're on all of the socials.
Yeah.
Just search for Right On Optics, RITON Optics, and then of course rightonoptics.com.
All right, check them out. As always, guys, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles pointing in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.